Without devotees association, many times we folk boys feel so much degraded in our daily sadhana. In that case, how to keep ourselves motivated and how you keep yourself motivated? Well, you see, during the migratory season, if you have got experience, certain birds, they cross continents and come to different warmer places. You know, when winter comes in Russia, in Europe, all these places, it becomes very cold, bitterly cold. Some places in Russia goes to minus 40 degrees centigrade. How can somebody live there? So, by the laws of nature, during those cold season, birds, butterflies, they all migrate from the colder places to the warmer places. And when the cold season gets over, they'll go back to their original place. And whenever this migration happens, this migration of the butterflies is also a very popularly observed phenomenon. And you can see even birds also migrating. Whenever they migrate, any birds or butterflies or whatever living entities, when they migrate, fishes also migrate, you will see they will do it in groups. You will never find one animal or one entity migrating all on its own. Almost all the time you will see they will do it in big groups. Why? Because when they migrate in groups, they feed off strength from each other. One bird is flapping its wings, it is feeling tired. Then it looks at the bird ahead of it. That bird is continuing to flap its wings, so it thinks if he can flap, I can also flap. Then he will somehow, let me flap. Like that they keep flapping, and they cross continents. Otherwise, if that bird were to go try that exercise all on its own, it will never be able to complete that journey. It's impossible. So you see, this is the power of association. As long as we remain in the association of devotees, we will be able to retain our strength to perform our sadhana. The moment we try to live alone or we try to live separate from the association of devotees, our strength will weaken, it will reduce. It will be very difficult to practice spiritual life all on our own. In the olden ages it was possible. Rishis and sages, how many rishis and sages are there in our history? Vishwamitra Muni, Agastya Rishi, Durvasa Muni, Pulaha, Pulasya, Marichi, so many rishis and sages. All of them used to live all alone in the forest. They would build a small hermitage, all alone they will live there. But today you see, in that same land of rishis and sadhus, do we find any rishis and sages now? Hardly anybody. Practically nobody. We don't find anybody. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, to practice spiritual life all alone is practically impossible. It is possible only for great transcendental personalities like Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, when he went to the West, US, he was all alone. He went all alone. He started all alone. For years together, he was all alone. And then slowly people started gathering and they all got elevated and they also became devotees. That is the power of a transcendental personality. He is not dependent upon others are dependent upon him. If we go to the US in the kind of situation Prabhupada went to, in the midst of all those drug addicts and drunkards and meat eaters and all that, what will happen? We would also have become drunkards and meat eaters. And we would also have become like them. We would also have become a hippie like them. 100%. But Prabhupada went all alone. One sadhu, he went all alone. What happened? Anybody who came in touch with him became a sadhu. This is the power of a pure devotee. Only a transcendental personality, a pure devotee, can remain unaffected in the midst of material sense gratificatory opportunities, and he can convert others to Krishna consciousness. That's possible only for a pure devotee. And this is a characteristic of a pure devotee. What is that characteristic? The characteristic is that prakritistopi na yujyate. So even in the living in the midst of sense gratification, they will be unaffected completely. They will not be affected. Whereas our condition is prakritistha. If we are put into that environment of sense gratification, we lose ourselves. Whereas the symptom of a pure devotee is prakritistopi na yujyate. Even in the midst of such degraded sense gratificatory life, like the hippies, illicit sex, intoxication, drugs, meat eating, what is their life? Even in the midst of that, Prabhupada is totally undisturbed. On the other hand, people are giving up those lives and becoming like Prabhupada. So this is possible only for a pure devotee. So we are not pure devotees, we are conditioned souls. So for us, we cannot try to imitate that. That's why you will see in Kali Yuga, you don't find that kind of rishis and sages. Vishwamitra Muni, Agastya Rishi, they would all go, all Valmiki Rishi, all alone they will meditate and they will attain high spiritual elevated status. That you will not find it happening in Kali Yuga, it's impossible. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, what we have to understand is, the process is, we have to live in the association of devotees. Satam prasangan mama virya samvidaha. Satam prasangan. We have to live in the association of devotees, and satam prasangan mama virya samvidaha. We have to hear about the glories of Krishna. We have to hear about the qualities of Krishna. We have to hear about the instructions of Krishna. By this, we will also become elevated. Therefore, the point is to remain strong in our sadhana. What is most essential? We have to be in the association of like-minded devotees. That's why we are having folk hostels, folk residencies, so that all of you can stay, you can practice together. So what happens? You are 6 boys, 8 boys, 10 boys staying together. What happens? 9 of them get up, 1 boy is sleeping. What the others will do? Hey, how this fellow is enjoying when we are, struggling. Wake him up. So they will ensure that he will not sleep. So that way you will get up and you will do your sadhana. All alone, no hope. So therefore, remain in the association of devotees, practice Krishna consciousness, you will remain strong.